Today we're making a cod with parsnip puree, some asparagus and also some carrots. And this is a really low calorie dish, clocking in at 364 calories per portion, 36 grams of proteins, 42 grams of carbs and 6 grams of fat. And to make our parsnip puree, we're gonna firstly chop up an onion. You don't need to finely chop this onion, we're gonna put it in a blender later on, but we're gonna start off by chopping it and fry it for a couple of minutes. Get a pot, use some low calorie cooking spray if you have it, and then we're just gonna put these onions in and fry them for a couple of minutes. And once they're frying away, we are going to chop 3 cloves of garlic. And same thing here, no need to be precise or anything, everything goes in a blender later on. So just give these a rough chop. And then we're going to put them in our pot as well and fry them for a couple of minutes. And again, while our onions and garlic are frying away, we're going to do the same thing for our parsnip. And this is 500 grams. If your parsnip is really big and the root or the dense part in the center might become really thick, so you might want to consider chopping that part out. But if they're roughly the same size as mine, they're going to be fine. They're gonna be easy to boil and become soft without any problem. Otherwise, I might suggest you cut that center part out. But we're gonna fry that for a couple of minutes as well. And then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of chicken fat. And then we're gonna cover this in water. And we're just gonna get enough water to get it just below covered. And then we're gonna add some pepper and then some salt. And what we're gonna do then is we're gonna bring that to boil and boil it until our parsnip is soft. And just to get something more to this dish, I like to boil a few carrots. Nothing advanced here at all, just cut those up slightly, salt some water, and in the carrots go. And the carrots take roughly the same amount of time to boil as the parsnip. So, to our puree we're gonna add 1 deciliter or 100 grams of low fat cream, and that means 13% fat. And we can add this basically straight on. Since we're gonna boil that and it's low fat cream, the cream is gonna split. But since everything goes in a blender later on, that's not gonna be a problem. So our cod. My cod comes in the size of 170 grams for each of these fillets. And mine were frozen, so we wanna thaw them and then get them as dry as possible. And to be honest, they're still a bit frozen here, so they're not gonna look as good as they could when we have been frying them. But in order to get that nice fried surface on them, you want them as dry as possible. And once our parsnip is soft, we are going to add the zest from half a lemon, and then we're gonna cut that lemon in half and use half the lemon juice for our parsnip puree, and the other half of the juice we are going to add to another pot that we're going to boil our asparagus in later on. And then once our parsnip is soft, all we need to do is just add this to our blender. And as you can see, the cream has split, but it's gonna be fine. Frying pan, high heat. For cod I like to aim at around 52 degrees. And then we're just gonna put this in our blender and mix it until it's smooth. And it takes a while to get going, but eventually everything will just run smoothly through the blender. And depending on your blender, this should be a very smooth and nice puree. And once your frying pan is hot, we're just gonna use some more of that cooking spray and add our cod. And as I said, mine were still a little bit frozen in the center, meaning that it wasn't optimal for getting a good fry on them. And in the asparagus go, and you want to fry the cod very shortly. When we're done frying them, we want to aim for roughly 52 degrees. So I think, depending on how hot your frying pan is, 1.5 to 2 minutes should be enough on each side. But it's easier if your cod is fully thawed. And to our cod, we're just gonna add some salt and some pepper as well. And that's it. So just divide your puree into 3 portions, and then we're gonna add our cod, and then our asparagus and our carrots. And as I said, very, very low calorie dish, and I think it's really nice. So if you try it, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.